Good day, and welcome to 6 Essentials for Data Visualization, presented by Shiloh Technologies. Before diving into our content today, let me tell you just a bit about our company. Shiloh Technologies has been an award-winning IT solutions provider for more than 20 years. ShilohNEXT, our flagship analytics software, was developed to make people's lives better, to streamline and simplify data and ways to consume it, such as visualizations. We are dedicated to optimizing the true value of data analytics and the positive impact it can make for you and your business. I'm Barbara Nixon, and I've been the Manager of Learning and Documentation for Shiloh Technologies for 5 years. Prior to joining the team at Shiloh, I was a college professor focusing on communication and public relations. Helping people communicate clearly has long been one of my passions, and my goal is to help you with just that today. Today we'll focus on 6 best practices in data visualization and 6 business scenarios that would call for an effective visualization. Now let's make sure we all understand what I mean by data visualization. It's the presentation of data in a pictorial or graphical format, making the data easier to understand and act upon. We'll start by sharing 6 best practices for data visualizations. It doesn't matter which business intelligence tool you're using, or even if you're just using Microsoft Excel, these principles will hold true. Oh, and that brings me to another point. ShilohNEXT is a BYOV service. Bring your own visualization tool. Why would this matter? Traditionally, if you change tools, you have to change your database as well. Not the case with ShilohNEXT. We can integrate any visualization tool, and your team can even use more than one at a time. Tableau, Click, Dundas BI, Microsoft Power BI, you name it, we can work with them all. So let's get started. The first best practice is this: make the visualization answer questions for your specific audience. What's needed for the C-suite might not be what's needed on the production floor or out in the field with your reps. It's important to know your audience and what they're trying to do. If you don't speak their language, the visualization will have less value for them. The best visualizations empower your audience to take action based on the data. If the visualization doesn't drive meaningful action, it's likely that the visualization is unnecessary. Now you may wonder what goldfish have to do with data visualizations, and more importantly, why you'd ever have to beware of a goldfish. Researchers have found that goldfish have an attention span of about 8 seconds, and unfortunately that's becoming true for humans as well. We have so much information bombarding us from all directions all day long. The visualization must grab the viewer's attention within about 8 seconds. Once you've gained the attention, then draw the viewer in to see and understand the details that are within the visualization. In some cases, you may want to design the visualization so that the viewer can drill into it for more detail. If you can't make your visualization understandable within 8 seconds, go back to the drawing board and try again. Hold up your left hand. How many fingers do you see? That's about the maximum number of colors to use in a visualization. 5. 6 would be the most. You'll want to be sure that the colors convert well to black and white, too, as some people may print the image on a black and white printer. If the colors are used to exemplify good, okay, and bad, then use color combinations that are already familiar to your audience for comparisons of this type. Use green for good, yellow for okay, and red for bad, as those are stoplight colors that we'd all immediately recognize. Make the colors intuitive when you can. Another thing to keep in mind is that nearly 10% of our population is colorblind, so the colors may appear differently to them than they do to you if you're not colorblind. You'll want to grab a screenshot of your visualization and upload it to one of the many color blindness simulators available on the web to see how it will look for various types of color blindness. Also, as you begin to create a suite of visualizations for your company's dashboards, for consistency, use the same color palette or theme across your visualizations. If red means bad and green means good in one chart, your viewer will expect the same in other charts. The bottom line: use colors to enhance your visualization, not to tell the entire story. Remember the 3D gradients and shadows and graphics that haunted us for the last 2 decades? Those days are done, and now flat is in. What is flat? It's geometric and clean. And the best part about flat? It showcases your data. It doesn't overstimulate the brain of your viewer, so he or she can focus on the story that your data is telling, rather than how cool or confusing the graphic looks. Seek feedback on your visualization before publishing it, and then be ready to accept and use that feedback that you receive. If your visualization is part of a dashboard that will be used for months at a time, revisit how well it's working for your viewers occasionally. Perhaps a small tweak can help make the data more understandable and easier to take action upon. But wait, there's more. I have a bonus essential for you. You must be able to trust your data. How? Start with a good database such as ShilohNEXT on the Azure platform. Make sure that you have a process in place to securely load, validate, and store your data. Choose a platform that will integrate and harmonize all the data you want: inventory, point of sale, social media feeds, even pictures. This will give you more flexibility, more data, and quicker processing for the best all-around analytical results. Remember, the best visualization in the world cannot overcome the absence of good data. So far, we've discussed 7 best practices. Now let's go on to 6 scenarios you might encounter and determine what kind of data visualization would be best for each. And before we dive into the business scenarios, let me give you a quick overview of the basic types you might want to visualize. First, there's comparison. You may want to make comparisons among data or over time. Second, composition. What is the whole made up of? You may want to include static data or data that changes over time. Third, distribution. Use this type of visualization when you want to understand normal ranges and outliers. And fourth, relationship. These types of visualizations show the correlation or connection of the elements in your data. The ones you're most likely to use most often are those for comparison and composition, so we'll focus on those two over the next few minutes. The scenario. How close are we to achieving our target for new customers enrolled this year? This question leads me to consider comparison charts, and the one that would best display your information for easy understanding is a gauge. Gauges are great for showing a single dimension and progress toward reaching the target. In this example, you can quickly see that at 877, you're getting close to your target of 1,000. If you chose a column chart, it wouldn't necessarily show progress, and if you chose a pie chart, it's hard to tell at first glance what you should be focusing on. Also, with these 2 poor examples, the color does nothing to tell the story of the importance of what you're seeing. The gauge, on the other hand, uses familiar red, yellow, and green, and displays both a speedometer line and numbers to show how close you are to the target. The scenario. I need to see the sales dollars for each of my salespeople, broken down by quarter for last year. Since this is a comparison, in this case, it's best to choose a table. Use a table when you need lots of detail, especially if you want the viewer to be able to sort the data. While an area chart does show the peaks and valleys in each person's sales, it's difficult to see details. You also can't see a subtotal or a grand total like you can when you use a table. The scenario. What were our top 5 products in sales last year? Since your goal is to see a comparison of your products, your best choice is a bar chart with the products sorted from high to low and only showing the top 5 products. I had a variety of choices for how to format this type of chart, and the one that highlighted the top 5 products best is one that displays their names in a larger font than you might normally see. If my goal had been to show the exact sales dollars, I could have either made the font larger across the horizontal axis or added the specific dollar amount next to each of the bars. If I'd chosen a line chart, I could have still shown the products in descending order, but it's much more difficult to read the names of the items. Also, the line is rather meaningless since the sales dollars for each item are not connected in any way. So you see, the horizontal bar chart tells your story much more clearly. The scenario. What parts of the country did most of the complaints about our product come from? Geography is important to the answer of this composition question, so choose a map so that you can tell at a glance which states have the highest number of complaints. In this example, states with few complaints are shaded light blue, and states with more complaints are darker blue. Maps are especially valuable when you offer your viewer the ability to drill into a specific area for more detail. I can see here that South Dakota is shaded in the darkest blue, so there are a lot of complaints coming from that state. If I double-click to drill down to the state, I can see more details about the primary cities where the complaints come from. There might be something more I need to investigate about our production factory in Rapid City, which supplies South Dakota and its neighboring states. If I were to take this information and display it in a column chart, I wouldn't get the sense of importance of geography like I can from a map, like this one. Also, the font is necessarily tiny, making it really hard to read. a map is a much better choice. The scenario. What web browsers are our customers using when they visit our site, and how popular is each of them? If you want to show how much each part makes up a whole, you'll need a composition chart like this. The pie chart will be your best option. To make pie charts more understandable, sort the pieces of the pie in size order and use labels when you have the room. Though you could use a table, it doesn't make much sense because you don't have much data to show. Also, colors like this would be problematic when printed on a black and white printer. When you're trying to show the parts of a whole, a pie chart is a better choice. The scenario. Going with a similar scenario to the last visualization, how has web browser choice evolved over time for customers using our site? Since we want to show a trend over time, this falls into the comparison category, and therefore, line charts are the best option. You can easily see at a glance that while Internet Explorer started out as the most common browser in 2008, in 2017 it has dropped to third. And Chrome wasn't even an option in 2008, but by the time 2017 rolled around, it's now the most popular. You could try making a column chart, but it's just too busy to be understood quickly. Remember the goldfish effect. For trends, line charts are the way to go. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Remember these 6 essentials for data visualization. Put your audience first. The visualization must speak to your specific audience. Empower your audience so that they can see how and where to take action. Grab their attention quickly with easily understood visuals. Color is used to enhance, not to confuse or to tell the entire story. Showcase your data. Use flat visuals so the attention is on the data story, not the fancy 3D graph. Constantly improve. Monitor the effectiveness of your visuals. And your bonus and most important essential, make sure you start with good, validated data. I do hope you have found the information valuable as you prepare for your next presentation. If you would like a copy of this script or for more information, please do not hesitate to contact us at info@ShilohNEXT.com. We'll be happy to help you with any of your data needs. Thank you for your time.